Hey there, all my favorite third graders. This movie's coming to you live from my couch after that great win from the Royals. I'm so very excited that we are big winners, hoping for another win tomorrow afternoon. But let's go ahead and just jump into our learning on a little bit more of subtraction. So in this video today, I'm going to show you guys two different ways to subtract specifically across zeros. So one way is our algorithm method, which hopefully that kind of sounds similar to something we've done in addition. That's that regrouping method that we used earlier when we just subtracted numbers without zeros. And then I'm also going to show you a method that might be new to you. It's called the box method. I find this to be an interesting way to subtract. I like it, and I kind of like the break it apart with addition. It makes it feel a little bit easier for me when I have to do some mental math. So go ahead and sit back and grab a piece of paper, and we're going to go ahead and jump into our video here. So just as a quick review, when we have a subtraction problem, see if you can remember, we have our let's label these numbers. So what's the top number? If you said minuend, you're right. I always feel so very smart when I say that. Subtrahend. And then let's go ahead and subtract. So if you think we start in our ones column, we know the bottom's bigger, so we have to borrow. The 2, we always want to cross out the tens place or the hundreds place. Wherever we're borrowing from, we always want to cross that out first. That turns into a 1. The 4 turns into a 14, and now we can subtract 14 minus 9 is 5. Now, again, we have a problem because we can't take away 3 from 1, so we're going to have to regroup again. So the 3 turns into a 2, and we are borrowing 100 and turning it into 10 tens. So in our tens place, we have 11. 11 minus 3 is 7. Sorry, that's an 8. 11 minus 3 is 8. And 2 minus 1 is 1 for our answer that we call a difference is 185. So now let's talk about what do you do when you have zeros in your numbers. What are we going to do? Because we can't borrow from our neighbor because there's nothing there. Let's start again in our ones column. We have 5. We can't take away 5 from nothing. So we go to our neighbor, and our neighbor has nothing either. So we have to go all the way to the 5. It's like when you go borrow eggs. You have to keep going to your neighbor, your next neighbor, until you find your eggs. Same thing here. We have to keep going until we find some digits that we can borrow from. So we go to our hundreds place. We turn 100 into 10 tens. Okay? So now, can our ones borrow from our tens place? Sure. So the 10 in the tens place turns into a 9, and the 0 turns into a 10. 10 minus 5 is 5, 9 minus 4 is 5, and 4 minus 2 is 2. What you're probably going to notice with these numbers is you're doing a lot of crossing and rewriting to make sure that you get the correct answer. So it's so very important that you keep your numbers in line so that you don't get them mixed up. So I try most of the time, as you can see, I really try to keep my numbers in a straight line so that I know the 9s in the tens place and the 10s in the ones place. Just keep that in mind when you're doing a subtraction. Do your very, very best to write nice and neat and keep those numbers in line. So with this method of regrouping and crossing and marking out, that's called the algorithm method. Let's do one more example like that, and this time I'm going to move just a little bit faster. So if you want to write this down with me, you can. If you want to just watch, that would be fine too. So on this one, we're going to do 400, and we're going to subtract 246. So again, we start in our ones column. There's nothing there. We can't borrow from our tens. There's nothing there again. So our 4 turns into a 3. Our 10, because we're borrowing 100, turning it into 10 tens, turns into a 10. That 10 again, we're going to borrow 1 10 and turn it into 10 ones. 10 minus 6 is 4. 9 minus 4 is 5. And 3 minus 2 is 1. So our answer for that problem is 154. Okay, so the next method that we are going to look at is called the box method. This one's kind of fun. You don't have to do as much crossing and carrying and regrouping as you have to do with algorithms, so it feels a little bit cleaner to me and helps me really remember what I'm doing. So what I want you to think of here for me is that you have 500 pieces or 500 ones. And so we're going to look at the ones place, and we know that we cannot take away 1 from nothing. So let's look at our tens place. Well, we don't have any tens in our tens place, but we do have stuff in our hundreds. We have a 5. But I want you to think about the 5, not as 100, but think of this as 50 tens. So just think of that like 50 tens. Because 50 tens is the same as 500, right? So you're going to take away 1 of your tens. So if you take 1 away from 50, what do you have? Probably a 49. So we took 1 10 away still, and we got 49. And then the ones place, you get a 10. So you have 49 tens now, and you have 10 ones. 10 minus 1 is 9. 9 minus 9 is 0. 4 minus 2 is 2. So you get 209 for your answer. Let's do another one just like that. Okay, we have 301 minus 146. So again, we look at our ones place. In our ones place, can I take away 1 if I only have 6? No, my bottom's bigger, I better borrow, but nobody's there. So let's take our tens, our 30 tens. You're going to take 30 and turn it into 29 tens. Now the 1 turns into an 11 because I took 1 10 and turned it into 10 ones to give me 11. 11 minus 6 is 5. 9 minus 4 is 5. And 2 minus 1 is 1. So hopefully you were able to figure out why we call that the box method, because you're putting a box around your tens, but you're looking at your tens and your hundreds kind of like the same number. So your box is going to go around your hundreds place and your tens place to get you 30 tens or 50 tens. So really all the box method does is it makes it feel a little bit cleaner, like I said before, and allows you to do the same kind of math in a little bit of a quicker way. That's why I like this method a little bit better when I'm doing mental math. However, it's also good to use the algorithm method. So just to recap really quickly, you have two types of ways to subtract across zeros. The box method only works with zeros. So the first way that you learned was the algorithm. And the second was the box method. just like with the addition, when I showed you 2 different ways to solve, I'm going to say the same thing with subtraction. Pick your favorite and stick with it and use it. And just make sure that you double check your work, you keep those lines straight, so that you don't make silly mistakes just because you can't read your own handwriting. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys have a fabulous long weekend. I am looking forward to seeing your parents at conferences. Let's go Royals and have a great evening. All right, guys, I almost forgot the best part is the joke. And I believe this one is coming to you from Miss Lauren. She gave it to me a couple weeks ago and asked for me to use it. So, Lauren, this one's for you. Hopefully I didn't mess it up. If I did, we can try again next time. So you'll have to let me know, Lauren. Okay, so here it goes. A cowboy rides into town on Friday. He stays for 3 days and he leaves on Friday. But how did he do it? So we will talk about that on Monday morning. I'll see you guys later. Bye.